wrote like how to be a badass money, how to unfuck it. Like she's really cool as a metaphysician. All right, YouTube, we are back. We are now in chapter 10 of Think and Grow Rich. This chapter has to do, it's a very short chapter, thankfully, because we've been having some long chapters. And this is about the power of the mastermind. So if you guys have been with me for so long, you know that as we've been reading Think and Grow Rich, they talk about you need to surround yourself with people who want their come up and they want to come up with you. They're not just willing to stay behind or just keep doing the same old, same old. They're people who are ready to elevate to the next level. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, do you surround yourself with people that want to go to the next level in their life, whatever that means, right? Do you surround yourself with people? That's what the chapter is on, power of the mastermind. This is the 9th step towards riches. Power is essential for success in the accumulation of money. Plans are inert and useless without sufficient power to move them into action. This chapter describes the method by which a person can attain and apply power. Power is defined as organized and intelligently directed knowledge. So let's go back that over again. Power is defined as organized and intelligently directed knowledge. Power, as the term is here used, refers to organized effort produced through the coordination of effort of 2 or more people who work towards a definite end. Power is required for the accumulation of money. It's necessary. So there's many people that go around saying, oh, I don't want to be powerful. I just want to be rich. Oh, I don't really want to be rich. I just want to make enough. We as a people have to stop putting those parameters on ourselves when we don't need to. The universe is vast, beyond vast. The universe has so much abundance in it, just waiting for people to ask for it. Hey, Uptown. Hey, Kendez. Thank you for the gifts. We're reading chapter 10 of Think and Grow Rich. So like I tell people, just listen, and whatever jumps out at you is a message to you from Spirit, what Spirit wants you to hear in this moment in time. Okay? So let's look at how power may be acquired. Some of you might be sitting there thinking, I don't have any power. I'm not a powerful person. So how can I use this power to make money? Well, let's talk about that. If power is organized knowledge, let us examine the source of knowledge. 1, infinite intelligence. This source of knowledge may be contacted through the procedure described in another chapter with the aid of creative imagination. So infinite intelligence is what we refer to as God, the universe, source. It's that all-powerful energy out there, okay? So infinite intelligence is a source of knowledge that can help you to acquire power. Number 2, accumulated experience. Okay? This is college, school. Thank you for the gifts, right? Going to school. Any important part of this accumulated experience is taught in public schools and college where it has been classified and organized. Number 3, experiment and research. In the field of science and practically every other walk of life, men are gathering, classifying, and organizing new facts daily. This is the source to which one must turn when knowledge is not available through accumulated experience. Meaning, if you didn't get a chance to go to school, right, you can do experiment and research. So knowledge can be acquired from any of those sources. Remember, infinite intelligence, that's like people who meditate or pray and have a connection with God. Accumulated experience, that's going to school or college, right? High school or learning. And then C, number 3, is experiment and research. So knowledge can be acquired from those 3 ways. It can be converted into power by organizing them into definite plans and expressing those plans in terms of actions. Okay, examining the 3 major sources of knowledge will disclose the difficulty an individual would have if he depended upon his efforts alone in assembling knowledge and expressing it through definite plans in terms of action. So basically what they're saying is you need people. That would come from infinite intelligence. Okay. So what these three things are saying is that you need people. You can't gain this knowledge that you can now convert into power without the help of other people. So if you're sitting here in your room trying to create this massive fortune or wealth by yourself, it's not going to happen. That's why for those of us that are business owners, we know the power of networking. I'm always networking. On these live streams, I'm networking. I just met Uptown and I was like, his energy is very similar to Rosé's energy. They need to meet, right? Some networking needs to happen there. I meet people for myself and I'm like, my energy and your energy is in alignment. We need to meet. There's some power there. Does that make sense? Everybody following me? So gaining power through the mastermind. The mastermind may be defined as coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. Yeah. Hey, Dr. Love. No individual may have great power without availing himself of the mastermind. In a preceding chapter, instructions were given for the creation of plans for the purpose of translating desire into its monetary equivalent. If you carry out these instructions with persistence and intelligence and use discrimination in the selection of your mastermind group, your objective will have been halfway reached, even before you begin to recognize it. So here's the thing about masterminds. I've been in a ton of mastermind groups, and what they're saying here is so important. You have to be aware of the people around you. Do you understand? Because just because you're in a mastermind group and you assume everybody wants the same thing, not everybody wants the same thing. Hey, Legs. So when you're trying to accumulate your wealth, we're still reading, we're in chapter 10 of Think and Grow Rich. So when you're trying to accumulate wealth, you can't do it on your own. You have to surround yourself with people. You have to create a mastermind, which is like a group of people that are having the same goal. And they have to be vetted in terms of, you have to understand, like, they have that work ethic, that drive, that persistence, that burning desire that you have to want to go ahead in life. Okay. So you may better understand the intangible potential of power through a properly chosen mastermind group. We will here explain the two characteristics of the mastermind. One which is economic in nature and the other psychic. Imagine that. They're talking about this since 1937. The economic feature is obvious. Economic advantages are created by any person who surrounds himself with the advice, counsel, and personal cooperation of a group of people who are willing to lend him wholeheartedly in spirit of perfect harmony. It's a cooperative alliance. And that has been at the basis of nearly every great fortune. Right? Thank you for the fave. I appreciate that. Your understanding of this definitely determines your financial status. The psychic phase of the mastermind principle is a little bit more abstract, much more difficult to comprehend because it has reference to the spiritual forces within which the human race as a whole is not well acquainted. You may catch a significant suggestion from this statement. No two minds ever come together without creating a third invisible force, which may be likened to a third mind. I'm doing well. So if you are spending a lot of time with another person, just by virtue of energy, you are creating something with that person. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Hey, Pantha, we're on chapter 10, Think and Grow Rich. So we're talking about masterminds and about the fact that you have to surround yourself with positive people, and not just positive people, but people who have a burning desire to achieve something the way that you do, which is interesting because as I'm reading this to you guys, I literally have members of my mastermind in here because I'm part of the CBG group on live streams, and I have Pantaclaw, I have Rosé Bryant. You know, these are all my people that we are a mastermind, you know. No, I'm married. Legs. Yeah. So as I read this, I only have a couple more pages left in this chapter, like 3 pages. So as I read this, Don't try to accumulate it all. Just pay attention to what jumps out at you, because that's the way spirit works, is that when something jumps out at you, they really need you to hear this. Okay? There are only two known elements in the whole universe, energy and matter. It is a well-known fact that matter may be broken down into units of molecules, atoms, and electrons. There are units of matter which may be isolated, separated, and analyzed. There are units of energy. The human mind is a form of energy, a part of it being spiritual in nature. When you look at yourself and your life, if you only live from a body perspective, you're missing out on life. Because you have a body, you have a mind, and you have a soul. So what are you doing every day to honor that tripart side of you? Are you only doing things to honor your body? What's honoring your body? Eating, drinking, having sex, chilling, right? What are you doing to honor your mind? What are you doing to honor your spirit? These are the questions we have to ask. Okay? Thank you, Dr. Love. When the minds of two people are coordinated in a spirit of harmony, the spiritual unit of energy of each mind form an affinity, which constitutes the psychic phase of the mastermind. The mastermind principle, or rather the economic feature of it, was first called to my attention by Andrew Carnegie over 25 years ago. Discovery of this principle was responsible for the choice of my life work. That's what the author said. Mr. Carnegie's mastermind group consisted of a staff of approximately 50 men with who he surrounded himself with. Now, everybody knows Andrew Carnegie. He's pretty much one of the wealthiest men in America that helped create America. Right? He surrounded himself with 50 men who had the definite purpose of manufacturing and marketing steel. He attributed his entire fortune to the power he accumulated through his mastermind. Now imagine those words. Andrew Carnegie created many things in America. He did a lot for the American civilization and American people. Exactly, Dr. Love. Look at all the things he did. Dr. Love said he revolutionized workers' rights, right? And guess what? Despite all of that, when you ask him, what made you so successful? What does Andrew Carnegie say? The power he accumulated through this mastermind. Are you surrounding yourself with people who want to see you win? Simple question. Ask yourself that. Hey, Cindy, are you surrounding yourself with people who want to see you win? Exactly. Dr. Love said people loved him and wanted to work hard for him, apparently. They were motivated by what he was doing and creating and his belief in his product. Good for you, Cindy. Analyze the record of any man who has accumulated a great fortune and many of those who have accumulated modest fortunes, and you will find that they have either consciously or unconsciously employed the mastermind principle. Great power can be accumulated through no other principle. Energy is nature's universal set of building blocks out of which she constructs every material thing in the universe. Nature's building blocks are available to man in the energy involved in thinking. Going back to law of attraction, what we think, we create. Every day, are you focusing your thoughts on what you want, or are you focusing your thoughts on what you don't want? Okay. It is a well-known fact that a group of electric batteries will provide more energy than a single battery. The brain functions in a similar way. This accounts for the fact that some brains are more efficient than others and leads to the significant statement: a group of brains coordinated or connected in a spirit of harmony will provide more thought energy than a single brain. Thank you for the cherries. It becomes immediately obvious that the mastermind principle holds the secret of the power wielded by men who surround themselves with other men and their brains. When a group of individual brains are coordinated and function in harmony, the increased energy created through that alliance becomes available to every individual brain in the group. It's impossible for one person to rise in a group when everybody is committed to the growth of the group. So when you have a mastermind, a real mastermind, you should see everybody in that mastermind up-leveling. It is a well-known fact that Henry Ford began his business career under the handicap of poverty, illiteracy, and ignorance. So if anybody in here is poor, illiterate, or ignorant, you still have a chance, okay? Because Henry Ford did it. Thank you for the 100. It is an equally well-known fact that within the inconceivably short period of 10 years, Mr. Ford mastered these 3 handicaps, and within 25 years, he made himself one of the richest men in America. It took Mr. Henry Ford 25 years. How many of you are starting or have started a business and you've gone through the ups and downs and you've quit? Has it been 25 years? I'll tell you right now, my center, I've owned it for 12 years, lots of up and downs. I can't imagine where I'll be in 25 years, but I figure if I keep going the way I'm going, I should be in a pretty good place. You put your hand up. A hand up for you've quit or you're still going. That's important. Operation seized. Yeah, I had 6 businesses last year and I lost 3. Thank you for the fave, Jason. That's tough. That is tough. Yeah. Need them contracts. Connect with this fact, the additional knowledge that Mr. Ford's most rapid strides became noticeable from the time he became a personal friend of Thomas Edison. Did y'all know that? That Carnegie was friends with Thomas Edison? And you will begin to understand what the influence of one mind upon another can accomplish. Go a step further and consider the fact that Mr. Ford's most outstanding achievements began from the time that he formed the acquaintances of Harvey Firestone, John Burroughs, and Luther Burbank, each a man of great brain capacity. And you will have further evidence that power is produced through friendly alliance of minds. Analyze Mr. Ford's intimate personal friends, and you will be prepared to understand the following statement. Raekwon. Men take on the nature and the habits and the power of thought of those with whom they associate in a spirit of sympathy and harmony. Henry Ford whipped poverty, illiteracy, and ignorance by allying himself with great minds whose vibrations of thought he absorbed into his own mind. Okay, so keep asking yourself who I hang out with on a regular basis. What are they doing with their lives? Are they going where I'm going? Are they doing what I want to do? Right? Or at least trying to help me, and am I helping them? Or are we just kind of like hanging out all the time? I have girlfriends that I don't see anymore because all they want to do is just hang out. And there's so much I want to do with my life. And the thing is like the older I get, there's that pressure, you know what I mean? There's that pressure to complete what you really want to see completed before you go. Because time's not promised to anyone. You could die tomorrow. You could get hit by a car, you know, shoot, you could die in an airplane. Like time's not promised to anyone. So if you were to go tomorrow, would you be happy with the way you've lived your life? Would you be happy with things that you've accomplished? Raekwon says, I feel it every day too. Yeah, that's why I work as hard as I work. I mean, I'm looking outside. It's Saturday. It's a nice day. I'd love to go outside and go for drinks or go for a hike or go hang out or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm here. I'm working. Yeah, I want to reach full potential. I want to be able to sit back one day and look at all the things I created and just breathe this sigh of relief and say, wow, I did a lot with my time here. I touched lives. I opened hearts. I expanded minds, right? Yeah. I like that as a mini creator. Tatiana, I'm finishing chapter 10 of Think and Grow Rich. Thank you for the cherries, Jack. So we have already mentioned Mahatma Gandhi. Perhaps the majority of those who have heard of Gandhi look upon him as an eccentric little man who goes around without formal wearing apparel and makes trouble for the British government, right? In reality, Gandhi was not eccentric, but he is the most powerful man now living. Now, remember, this book was written in 1937. So at that time, he was the most powerful man living at that time. Thank you for the gifts. Right? Moreover, he's probably the most powerful man who has ever lived. His power is passive, but it is real. So they didn't have at that time other people to look upon like we have to look upon now. Let us study the method by which Gandhi attained his power. It may be explained in a few words. He came by power through inducing over 200 million people to coordinate with mind and body in a spirit of harmony for a definite purpose. Now break that down. He was considered one of the, if not the most powerful man of his time. He was very passive. He didn't use violence, right? And how did he do that? To me, people might think people who use violence is a stronger person. People who use peace is a stronger person. How do you coordinate the minds of 200 million people to all believe that we need to be harmonious for our purpose? How do you do that? Right? The man was a genius. In brief, Gandhi has accomplished a miracle, for it is a miracle when 200 million people can be induced, not forced, to cooperate in a spirit of harmony for a limitless time. If you doubt that that is a miracle, try to induce 2 people to cooperate in a spirit of harmony for any length of time. Every man who manages a business knows what a difficult matter it is to get employees to work together in a spirit of harmony. The list of the chief sources from which power may be attained is, as you've seen, headed by infinite intelligence. When 2 or more people coordinate in a spirit of harmony and work towards a definite objective, they place themselves in a position through that alliance to absorb power directly from the great universal storehouse of infinite intelligence. This is why it's so important you choose who you get into a relationship with, whether it is a friendship, a business partnership, a love relationship. You have to choose a person. If you can understand this concept that whoever I lay with romantically has the ability to either ascend me or descend me, you're going to be more choosy in who you choose. Just facts. The other 2 major sources from which knowledge necessary for the accumulation of power may be obtained are no more reliable than the 5 senses of man. The senses are not always reliable. Infinite intelligence does not make mistakes. Okay? Read, think, and meditate as you read. Soon the entire subject will unfold and you will see it in perspectives. You're now seeing the detail of the individual chapters. Money is as shy and elusive as the old-time maiden. It must be wooed and won by methods not unlike those used by a determined lover in pursuit of the girl or man of their choice. And coincidentally, as it is, the power used in the wooing of money is not greatly different than that used in wooing a person. That power, when successfully used in the pursuit of money, must be mixed with faith, desire, and persistence. It must be applied through a plan, and that plan must be set into action. Miss Backwoods, we're finishing chapter 10 of Think and Grow Rich. When money comes in quantities known as the big money, it flows to the one who accumulates it as easily as water flows downhill. There exists a great unseen stream of power, which may be compared to a river, except that one side flows in one direction, carrying all who get into that side of the stream onward and upward to wealth, and the other flows in the opposite direction, carrying all who are unfortunate enough to get into it downward to misery and poverty. Every man who's accumulated a great fortune has recognized the existence of this stream. It consists of your thinking process. The positive emotions of thought form the side of the stream which carries one to fortune. The negative takes you to poverty. Are you aware of your thoughts? Your thoughts are going to tell you whether you're going to become powerful and rich or weak and poor. Some people undergo the experience of alternating between positive and negative sides of the stream. Sometimes you're positive, sometimes you're negative. The Wall Street crash of 29 swept millions of people from the positive to the negative side of the stream. These millions are struggling, some of them in desperation and fear, to get back to the positive side of the stream. This book was written for those millions. Poverty and riches often change places. The crash taught the world this truth, although the world will not long remember the lesson. Poverty may or generally does voluntarily take the place of riches. When riches take the place of poverty, the change is usually brought about through well-conceived and carefully executed plans. Poverty needs no plan. It needs no one to aid it. Anyone can wish for riches, and most people do, but only a few know that a definite plan plus a burning desire for wealth are the only dependable means of accumulating wealth. That brings us to the end of chapter 10. Thank you for joining me. And for those of you that are